Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, who knows if it's going to happen or not. We know when Eubank Sr. gets involved, it can be quite entertaining. It can be a little weird sometimes because he's super proper, super articulate, and sometimes he comes from like super left field with the things he says. But in this instance, I think we can all agree that he has the best interest for his son. And we can also understand his position, having recently lost another son due to a heart attack while swimming in the ocean. That's really, really sad. But with what's on the line for this fight between his son Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, Eubank Sr. doesn't want to take any chances. And, you know, you can see all fathers, man, when they love their sons, you know, and me too, I have 4 boys. I think we all have a little Joe Jackson in us, depending on what the situation is, where it's like, boy, you better listen. And in this case, I think I can understand what Eubank Sr. is saying. I do, but at the same time, he's concerned about the weight cut for his son. Now, this is the thing. Eubank Jr. is 5'10". So the ideal weight for a guy who's 5'10" is like 130 to 178 pounds. So getting down to 157, based on what the experts say, is that that's not necessarily an unhealthy weight. But we all know everyone's body is built differently. And you can look at Eubank Jr. and see that he doesn't have any damn fat to lose, okay? At 160, he's super shredded. 168 is where he's comfortable. 160, 157 is pushing it. Now, he agreed to that weight. But I could understand what his dad is saying. You look at what De La Hoya cut all that weight. A weight he hadn't made in how many years? To get down to 147 to fight Pacquiao. Wasn't necessary, but he's chasing the money. The man was dying going into that fight. And he had nothing at all to offer. Now, true, Pacquiao was a beast. That's prime Pacquiao. That's Tocino pork Pacquiao. Adobo, lumpia, coconut water Pacquiao. Shooting pool, smoking cigarettes at the goddamn local pub Pacquiao. That's a totally different animal, but losing all that weight didn't help Oscar De La Hoya. Even looking at Canelo and him going and clipping Chavez, Chavez Jr. Man ain't never made that kind of weight. He's killed himself to get down. And you look at his performance in the fight. Yeah, he's not the most disciplined, but still, just totally killed him, And when we talk about that, and we really, get serious, there's been several fighters in MMA who died as a result of trying to cut weight for a fight, having heart failure, heart attacks, going into comas, losing consciousness. Like this is stuff that is happening today. These are present day concerns and issues, and that's why I can understand his dad. Now, I don't know what Eubank Jr. weighs at this moment. It almost looks like he's trying to play mind games with Conor Benn. But one thing for sure, for him to try to cut that weight, man. And you know what? You know who I'm waiting to hear from? Because to get down to 157, like, right now I weigh 255? My really comfortable weight is about 205. You know what I'm saying? But shit happens when you have all them kids. And I'm not out there working out. I do my little walking and stuff, but even me, like in my prime, 205 was where I was the most comfortable. But I used to cut down, man. 160. It's 160, man. I'm talking about nothing but muscle, And I used to cut down and sacrifice muscle, man. Get to 160. all you see is cheekbones and everything, man. And that's not easy to do. And I couldn't imagine having such a streamlined physique like him. And with the proper nutritionist, he can get down to that weight. But you can't just get down to 157 pounds from where he's at for the day of the weigh-in. Then after you weigh in and you hit that magic number, just go and just start eating and drinking what you want. Like, it's a gradual process. You can't do that to your body. But his dad has every right to be concerned, man. And now Conor Benn is like, making jokes and everything, talking about how he just sparred 10 rounds and Eubank Jr. is having daddy issues. Look, I can't fault his father. And his father's like, if his son chooses not to listen to him, well, he has other avenues he'll pursue to preclude the fight from happening. So this is the kind of stuff the media jumps on. This is what you need going into a fight. The drama. The dad gets involved. Maybe Conor Benn's dad chimes in. Now you got Senior and Conor Benn. Conor Benn's pops, Nigel, going at it again, But at the end of the day, when we really settle down and look at what's going on, that grieving, man, of losing one son and just the idea of his son really putting himself at risk to get in here with a guy who's going to try to hurt him. Like, Conor Benn is no joke. Like, if you look at him, he got a big ass head like a pit bull. He's built like a machine, and he's gonna come in there looking to knock out Eubank Jr. And when you lose all that water, right, you cut a lot of water weight. That affects, gives you headaches, can affect your brain, and really result in easily being concussed and KO'd. And that can have long-term or lethal effects, man. So I can't fault his father. Because could you imagine Eubank Jr. was to, for some reason, not have his legs, and fatigue hit him early in that fight, and Conor Benn, who's coming up in weight, which means he's going to be stronger, and he's still athletic and agile. It's not going to slow him down. Conor Benn's not putting on 25 pounds. He's coming up to a weight that he walks around and fights at and spars at and feels comfortable and is still pretty ripped. But imagine if Eubank Jr. slowed down in that fight just enough for Conor Benn to come and start catching with those hard shots, headshots. That could be an issue because Eubank Jr. is not the kind of kid to quit. So I think his dad is spot on. I think it's a little bit more of kind of just grieving and being a little bit too helicopterish about his son. But at the end of the day, I would do the same thing if I really felt that passionate about it. And I think the 157, man, like I said, I think that's a danger. I think could be a dangerous weight for him, but at the end of the day, 130 to 178, the experts say, but I mean, the body makeup that they use to arrive at that, safe weight zone for that height of 5'10", who knows what the hell body type they use. We're all built differently, man. 130 to 170 on my frame is different to somebody else, But we'll see what comes out of this, man. There are a lot of people who are dying, man. A lot of people who are dying from weight loss, man. That dehydration is something else. Dehydration is, if you guys have never been dehydrated, you probably won't understand and kind of what it feels like, man. But, there were rules back in 1865 that were implemented to improve the safety of boxing, from the rounds to, how many times they get knocked down, to the different weight classes. And that's to prevent guys, dehydrating themselves or just someone having a weight advantage, man. But you got to think about, man, it's someone trying to return their weight to some kind of normalcy within 24 to 48 hour periods. That's something that requires a lot of fluids, man. And food and water is our fuel. And if you're cutting out a lot of your fuel, that can affect your muscle tissue, which is, gives you a source of strength. But at the end of the day, also can affect your organs. And that's where you can see the concern coming from the father, man. So a 24-hour period of recovery is just not enough. It really isn't enough. You know, Eubank Jr. would need more than that, but if with the right nutritionist, I mean, it should be okay. But one thing that's a fact that I don't think a lot of people know, man, is just a rapid 2% loss of body weight. And I'm not sure how rapid we could consider him cutting this weight, but we know that it happens, especially if he's struggling to get the weight off and then he goes in the last minute trying to force that weight off. But it's a rapid 2% loss of body weight impairs an athlete's endurance by 20% and robs strength, endurance, and motivation. And also, man, studies have also suggested that a rapid loss of 2.5% of body weight causes decrease in shock-absorbing brain fluid, potentially increasing the risk of concussion and bleeding in a dehydrated boxer's injured brain. Further brain studies show that after a concussion, the amount of sugar in brain cells rapidly decreases. If a boxer begins about not storing the normal amount of sugar or glycogen, she can potentially be really messed up, man. Really messed up, man. Robbing the brain of the ability to recover. So it's all about being able to recover. And going into a fight dehydrated takes more than 24 hours to recover. Your brain and everything's affected, man. It's just bad. So you can understand the dad's concern. But at the end of the day, hopefully they can figure it out. But we don't want to see anything bad happen. But it looks to me like Eubank Sr. will let that Joe Jackson out. You better do what I tell you, boy. I'll whip your ass. But that being said, on a serious note, man, we'll see what comes out of it, man. That being said, y'all keep safe. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Think the dad's being a little super protective, or is he right? I'd have to say I think he's right to have those concerns. But at this stage, the money these guys are making, the right nutritionist, I think he should be okay. But at the same time, if I was a dad, I wouldn't want to risk anything either. But that being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.